Greetings, everyone. Hope all of you are having an absolutely fantastic day today. I want to take a few minutes to talk about Justice League, the Snyder Cut. And let me be upfront from the very, very beginning. You'll see a lot of reviews and talk about this movie from people who say they love Zack Snyder, they've been pushing for the Snyder Cut, they're part of the Snyder Cut movement. I'm the exact opposite. Love 300. I think that is absolutely one of the most entertaining movies ever made. The rest of the stuff Zack Snyder has been doing, kind of middling as far as I'm concerned. Definitely was not a big fan of Batman versus Superman. So when I went to see the theatrical release of Justice League, I had very, very low expectations. And I didn't have high expectations for this version of it either, to be honest with you. But my wife and I just got through looking at it today, and wow. Wow. You don't have to be a fan of Zack Snyder to say that this movie that they've released is significantly better than what was released in theaters, and not just because of the longer runtime. It is just a better movie, period. It's better made. It's clearly been done by somebody who really cares about the characters and the source material. It's just all around a better feature, and I have so much respect for it. So let me give a big thank you and note of appreciation to everybody who played a part in helping to bring this about. I was definitely not one of them. I was definitely not one of the people who believed in Snyder and believed the Snyder Cut would be all that much better. But I think the end product has really vindicated you all and really, really shown that Snyder is a person who they should have just allowed to present his vision the way he wanted to. So it's disappointing that it took so much work and effort to get to this point, but kudos to everyone involved. This movie is one for the record books as far as comic book source material goes. Some of the things that absolutely blew me away, the character interactions, there's so much more effort put into actually building up the characters and making you understand and feel for them, especially when it comes to Lois Lane, Superman's mom, Martha, and Cyborg. I mean, when you see this movie and you compare it to the way Cyborg was done in the original theatrical release, it is nothing short of criminal. Nothing short of criminal. I can't claim to be a big fan of Cyborg. I'm much more of a Marvel guy than I'm a DC guy. But of course, I care about black representation in comic books and movies, period. And I was really looking forward to seeing Cyborg on screen. And what I saw of him, I was like, why are y'all talking about doing a separate movie of this guy? Like, there's just not that much there. And when you see how much more they put into it from this Snyder Cut, and you realize that footage was already available. It's not like they shot a bunch of new footage. They just took the footage that was already there and actually put it into the movie. That's crazy. It's crazy that WB and Josh Whedon did this to the character. I feel like out of everybody in Justice League, Cyborg benefited the most from the Snyder Cut. And to look back at the original way it was and understand that WB and Whedon and whoever else was involved in putting that wretched film out felt like this would be enough. Felt like, hey, people would enjoy just these cuts that we've put into the movie. Is just insane. It's insane. Some of the scenes with Lois Lane, where she's mourning Superman's death and their final, reconciliation. It's amazing. It's an amazing build-up. It's a heartfelt moment when Superman is finally back. How do you leave that on the cutting floor and decide, audiences aren't really interested in that? I just don't understand. And this whole process, looking at this, has given me a lot more respect for Zack Snyder. Because, again, I didn't think his previous movies were all that great. And so, I wouldn't say that I felt like he was a hack. But I always felt like he was given way more credit than what he actually deserved. But comparing these two films has made me really realize what a hack looks like compared to somebody who actually has some understanding of their craft. If you're somebody who loves comic books, who was really looking forward to Justice League, and wants to see these characters done justice on the screen, you have to go ahead and take the time to see this film. Even if you don't have an HBO account, go ahead and get that trial account so that you can at least give this a watch, or hey, pay for a month. It's well worth it. I feel like this film is just leaps and bounds ahead and just flat out better than the original crap that we were given. There are some people running around trying to say it's the best comic book movie ever. No, I'm not going to leap out the window like that. At the end of the day, the runtime is still 4 hours. If it's going to be the best movie ever, you need to figure out how to tell that story in 2.5 hours. All right, so we're not going to leap out the window like that. But it absolutely deserves the push and the support that it's getting. And honestly, there's a couple of other things I want to say outside of this movie. First and foremost, I think this film is, circling back to Joss Whedon, it's a terrible look for him. Terrible look. I was one of the people who really felt like Joss Whedon received too much of the blame for what happened to the original Justice League, because we all know he came into a horrible situation, and who knows how much control he was actually given, over the movie. But considering how much better this movie is, and even over beyond that, considering all the controversy that surrounds him regarding his treatment of women and people of color, to see how poorly people of color were treated by the cuts he chose to make, he completely disrespected the Cyborg character. There's an Asian American actress who has a couple of pivotal scenes in his backstory that were all left on the cutting floor. It's a horrible look for him. Horrible look. It just reinforces all the negative things that have been coming out about him recently. This movie also heavily reinforces that Henry Cavill is the best Superman that we've had, and that he should be allowed to continue playing Superman. Straight up. Like, again, I'm passionate about black representation. I'm passionate about black characters on the silver screen. Want to see more representation. And I'm not against all of the the comic book characters that were previously white being made black. I think it depends upon the character, and I'll make a separate video about that. So I'm not necessarily against Superman being black. I am strongly against Henry Cavill being pushed out of the role to then make Superman black. Cavill has proven he can provide us with a standout Superman. Give him a real script and a real movie in order to put that on full display and stop jerking around the fans. I don't understand. When they were previously rebooting Superman, it made sense because the actors who were there, people were just okay on. Like, nobody could really stand up to the symbol that Christopher Reeves put forth. And Cavill doesn't necessarily do it either. But he's absolutely proven he should be given the role, and the Snyder Cut just reinforces that. And then finally, looking at the Snyderverse overall, I think this movie absolutely makes it clear that Zack Snyder should be able to continue with his vision, and that Warner Brothers made a mistake trying to pivot from him. And if they do not allow him to make more movies, it's going to again be a mistake. Not only because he's shown that what he actually envisioned for the movie really works and should have been done, and should have been what they had done from the very beginning, but also because it's clear that the fans are behind him. That it's not just him standing at the podium spouting off a bunch of words. The DC fandom who love these characters, who will push the content, who are going to be the ones that decide ultimately whether or not these movies are successful, they're making it clear Snyder is our guy. So how do you not take advantage of that and ensure that you bring those legions of people along with you into this new era of DC content that you're attempting to do? I don't understand that. I don't understand that thinking. So to me, hey, they need to come out quick and make it clear, hey, we got the message. Snyder is still on board. We're still working some things out, but he will do additional movies with us because it just makes sense. So those are my thoughts about it. I didn't do a whole big review. Like I said, there's a legion of people who are responsible for getting this movie made, for pushing to have the Snyder Cut become a reality. They've already been doing reviews on that. I'll leave that to those folks. But I figured the perspective might be cool from someone who was not a big fan of Snyder, was not on board with this movement, and at the same time is very impressed with the content that has been put out. So, appreciate you all for watching, and I'll see you in more videos later on in the week. Take care.